Alright, what up, gangy? It's your boy, CBeezy. Today I'm doing something a little different. So, I just completed my Dark Souls 1 run on Hyper Aggression, Perma Gravelord, Hardcore. Go check that out. It was terrible. Really, it wasn't terrible. It was a formative experience, but goddamn was that hard. So today, after that playthrough, I thought, why not make a tier list on all the bosses? And luckily, on this tiermaker.com website, shout out them, they already got this tier list right here. So I'm going to go ahead and rank all the bosses in my opinion. Remember, this is my opinion. From hot garbage all the way to legendary. So starting off with our first boss here, let's see, where's he at? Stray Demon, okay, so this is Asylum Demon. Alright, Asylum Demon. I'll go ahead and put Asylum Demon in mediocre. So Asylum Demon, if you haven't played the game before, he can actually be kind of challenging. I bet if you look at like Xbox achievements and see like what percentage of people killed Asylum Demon, that'll let you know how many people quit just fighting this boss. If you don't know to run through the little doorway and go through and get your equipment and jump attack him, then you're in trouble, because it's going to take you a good hour to kill this motherfucker with a sword hilt. But once you know how to kill him, he's pretty easy. And honestly, I wouldn't say he's hot garbage. Like, I think he's a good first boss. Like, I'd even kind of lean towards solid category. If it weren't for, a new game plus, you just melt him. And I mean, with your normal weapons, you just melt him too, so. He's a good tutorial boss. I don't think it's really fair to rank him amongst the others, but he's not hot garbage by any means. Taurus Demon, it's a little different. I would go as far as to put Taurus Demon in the solid category. From my perspective, my first playthrough, this dude is pretty hard. The only experience you really have fighting hard enemies at this point in the game is the Black Knight, Asylum Demon, that's really it. Like, you're just facing hollows, and then all of a sudden you gotta fight this dude. For a starting boss, if you exclude Asylum Demon, as a starting boss, I think Taurus Demon's pretty solid. Because he catches you by surprise, he does a lot of damage. His attacks, for me, to this day, are still kind of hard to dodge roll sometimes. That downward strike he does with his axe, like, I can never roll that right. But you can drop attack him. You can just do that over and over if you really want. You can make him jump off. Or you can just fight him normally and he's really not that bad. But honestly, I think he's a pretty solid first boss. Even though he is a repeat enemy later in the game, you don't really know that at this point. Yeah, I think solid's a good spot for Taurus Demon. Now we got, I like this image right here. We got the Gargoyles. I can confidently put Gargoyles in the solid tier as well. I wouldn't say they're excellent, but I think it's a solid boss. You get one of them down to half HP and the other one comes and starts shooting fire. I think it's pretty balanced. You can just run away from the one shooting fire until you kill the first one. And killing the second one's pretty easy from there. Not too hard, not too easy either. First time players, Gargoyles will probably throw you for a loop, but I think putting them right there next to Taurus Demon's a pretty good placement. And next on the tier list, we got Moonlight Butterfly. Alright, might be a bit controversial, but without hesitation, right there on hot garbage. I don't like this boss. For one, this boss is pretty anti-melee build. If you're a melee build, you're just going to be rolling for your life. You're going to be rolling like your life depends on it. Forever. This boss right here, and even if you're ranged, if you try to pop off your ranged attacks, this thing will hit you. And oftentimes one-shot you. This boss is tedious. It's really cool looking. Really cool arena. It's a pretty cool idea, but for example, I don't see Moonlight Butterfly on the same tier as Asylum Demon. Absolutely not. I can't bear to do that. I don't like this boss, so Moonlight Butterfly, hot garbage, in my opinion. Next up, we got, where is he? Capra. Honestly, this might be another hot take, but I'm going mediocre for Capra. Alright. Capra, for one, you gotta go through the lower Undead Berg to get to him. That area is pretty tough, especially for beginners. My playthrough is really tough, I'll tell you that much, but the boss itself, he's pretty easy, It's kind of shocking at first when you go in there and you get hit by the dogs, you just get slammed down by Capra, and you die, and you got to do all that over again. It's pretty shocking, but this is a gimmick boss. This is also another enemy that just appears later on as a normal enemy. Once you take out the dogs and just use the stairs to your advantage, it's really not too hard, especially if you're a ranged character. You can just go up the stairs and hit them with lightning spears or soul arrow or what have you. I don't know. I don't know if I would put them on the same tier as these two. I think these two are better fights. This one, it's got a little bit of artificial difficulty to them with the dogs. I think mediocre for Capra is an okay placement. I like these two better than I like Capra. Alright, and up next we got Gaping Dragon. There's our beautiful little Gaping Dragon. Now this one, so here's the deal with Gaping Dragon. This boss is tanky, has a ton of health. Pretty easy to maneuver around. Like if you get hit by Gaping Dragon, you know, just you got something to learn if you get hit by this boss. But if you do get hit, highly likely you'll be one shot. The Gaper is, design-wise, absolutely disgusting. They did really well with the whole cutscene revealing this boss. I don't know about Gaping Dragon, man. I don't know where to put him. Mediocre? Definitely. Gaping Dragon's mediocre. This boss can be a bit jarring at first, but once you get the hang of him, and especially if you've played the game multiple times, this boss is just a cakewalk. I wouldn't say it's hot garbage, though. Absolutely not. I think mediocre is a good placement for the Gaper. And up next, coming in hot, we got Quelaag. Excellent boss. I think Quelaag's a great boss. Personally, unpopular opinion, but I'm quite a fan of Blighttown. I think that point in the game is where you really start to weed out some of the good players from bad players, and Quelaag is no exception. I think this boss's attacks are really cool. They're well telegraphed, so you can dodge pretty easily. The spider spewing the lava is pretty sick. For your first time through, this boss will be really hard for you. And if you're like me when you first played this game and you're like level 25, 30, like a +5 weapon that really sucks, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to dodge, this boss will have you stumped for a minute. I think this boss is a great gatekeeper to the last spell before you go to Sin's Fortress. I like her design, I like her boss arena, it's really cool. I like the lead up to this boss. I don't know, I think Quelaag is an excellent boss. So, excellent's a good tier for her. Up next, who do we got? Oh, that's right, we got Mr. Where is he at? We got Iron Golem. Iron Golem? Mediocre for sure. Iron Golem, he's one of these bosses like Gaping Dragon. You're faced with him and you're like, oh god, this is going to be hard, this is going to be terrible, but no, it's really not bad. His attacks are very well telegraphed. I'd say his worst attack is his grab attack, which has a huge hitbox for some reason, and he can just throw you off the arena. But the caveat is you can make him fall off the arena if you just spam his legs and make him fall off. Yeah, I think he's a pretty mediocre boss, obviously. I don't think anyone would have any disagreement with that, but I wouldn't say he's hot garbage now. He's not Moonlight Butterfly tier. Next up, after Iron Golem, you got quite the hike in difficulty here. We got Ornstein Smough, which is absolutely without a doubt a legendary boss fight. One of FromSoft's best they've ever done. They balanced this boss so well. You got Ornstein, the fast, hyper-aggressive, the one who's going to be really putting the pressure on you in the whole fight. Then you got Smough, who's there to catch any mistake you make. And depending on which one you kill first, they'll absorb the other one's soul pretty much and transform into a bigger, more badass, powerful version. You have to fight that to win. Pretty crazy boss, dude. This one, I said Quelaag is a boss that weeds players out. This one is the real one. A lot of people quit the game on this boss because it's so hard. But honestly, you just take the time to learn their moves, be patient with it. Patience is very important with this boss. Learn their moves, be patient with it, and you'll get it. No hesitation putting it up there at the very top. Next up, who do we have? Sif. I'll put Sif in the solid category. I would say Sif's on par with these three for me. A lot of you might want to see Sif in excellent, but I like Sif, I like the lore. I love the lore of this game, absolutely. One of my favorite parts about it, but in terms of a boss battle, I don't think Sif's that bad. Sif's another one of these, like Iron Golem and Gaping Dragon, where it's a huge enemy, very intimidating, but once you kind of figure it out, it's really easy. You just sit in Sif's legs and hit him, and he goes down eventually. He gave me some trouble in my playthrough, but that's because he was beefy as fuck. But no, he was a solid boss for sure. Not mediocre, not excellent, but right there in the middle. I think Sif being in solid is fitting. Sif fits quite well in this solid category with Gargoyles and Taurus Demon. Next up, we can't skip our boy. We can't skip our boy Gwyndolin. Gwyndolin? This is a conflicting one for me. A lot of people would say this boss is hot garbage, but I don't think so. The design of his arena is one of my favorite arenas in all of Souls. I think it's really sweet how he just makes the hallway infinite. His lore is amazing too. The actual boss fight itself can be kind of tedious, but if you understand what you really got to do to fight this boss, and I learned this in my last playthrough, if you can bait out his bow attack and run at him then, you can get a lot of hits on him and finish him pretty quickly. Magic caster, ranged user, OP as fuck, but still a glass cannon. I don't know where to put him. I put him in solid too. I put him in solid with these guys. I wouldn't say he's excellent, but he's not mediocre by any means. I think he's a cool boss. Solid is fitting for Gwyndolin. Next up, let's do Priscilla. So, a lot of people love the painted world. It's cool from a lore perspective, a design perspective. I'm not a huge fan. And this boss, I honestly feel the same way. Like I'm leaning on mediocre for Priscilla for a couple reasons. So, she's really weak. She's really easy to dodge. Like if I ever get hit by Priscilla, I might as well just uninstall the game. Like this boss is very simple. In my recent playthrough, I melted her in about 10 seconds. 10 seconds is generous, but I don't know. I don't think it's a very great fight. It's cool when she goes invisible and you had to find her footsteps to attack her, uncloak her, but yeah, she doesn't really stack up with these four at all. She fits more alongside Capra and Gaping and the others here. She's cool design, but yeah, she's not cracking the mediocre tier by any means, in my opinion. All right, now we got Stray Demon. Now I got Asylum Demon in mediocre. I might actually do some here. I'm gonna move Asylum Demon to solid, and I'm gonna put Stray Demon in mediocre. Stray Demon, it's pretty tanky. He's got a lot of health, his little magic attacks, but once you see his tells when he's going to use his magic attacks, you just get behind him and hit him and punish the ground pound he does, and he's cake. He's a reskin of Asylum Demon. It's not really nothing much new about him at all. I would put Asylum Demon above him. That's the only reason why I switched them out. Yeah, Stray Demon's mediocre, but he's not hot garbage by any means. He's still a good boss fight, but I just had to put Asylum Demon above. That might freak some people out, but I really do like Asylum Demon as a first boss. Now we'll go ahead and make our way down to Nito over here. We'll start with Pinwheel. Pinwheel, let's be honest. Can we put Pinwheel up with these guys? Absolutely not. We'll put Pinwheel in hot garbage, for sure. Pinwheel. This boss is stupid, dude. Like, honestly, putting a couple Torch Hollows in a boss arena would be harder than fighting this guy. Pinwheel, I don't know what purpose it serves, this boss right here. I mean, you get the Rite of Kindling, you get a mask of the father, child, mother, what have you. But the actual boss fight, not hard at all. It's pretty cake. The easiest boss in the game, for sure. Asylum Demon's harder than Pinwheel. Pinwheel, hot garbage, for sure. Let's move on. So now we got... we got the Dark Chad himself, Mr. Gravelord Nito. My recent playthrough, this motherfucker, he pushed me to my limit mentally. The area before him, that run back, holy moly. This dude haunts my dreams, and I think it's quite fitting for his stature. In terms of his boss, this is tough, alright? I'm kind of leaning on mediocre for Nito, to be honest with you. Mediocre is solid. There's some personal bias because I like Nito. No, I'll put him in solid. He puts up a good fight. He's kind of a gimmicky boss in a couple ways. You know, his sword, his little Gravelord sword attack that comes out of the ground, that's pretty cheap. But if you know how to roll it, you basically got to time when you hear that scream in the arena. If you time it like 2 or 3 seconds, you can just roll and you'll miss it. But let's talk about the skeletons in his arena, alright? If you don't go get yourself a divine weapon, this boss becomes one of the most nightmarish experiences you could possibly endure in this whole game. If you get a divine weapon though, you can kill the skeletons, pick them off, and go 1v1 them. In terms of his design, his build up, the actual boss fight itself, I don't know. Honestly, no. I'm going back mediocre for Nito. It's just, he's kind of cheap. He's kind of cheap. Like, I can't put him in the same tier as Gwyndolin or Sif or Gargoyles. There's no way. He's a cool boss. I like him, but he's not cracking mediocre. There's no shot. Let's go ahead and do Seath. Seath. I'm gonna keep it a buck, dude. I think Seath's kind of hot garbage. I think this boss is one of the final bosses, quote unquote, is trivial. Like, this dude is really easy to kill. All you gotta do is run to this right tentacle here, or his left. You just swing on the end of that tentacle and you'll beat the boss in like a couple minutes. He's really not bad at all. I like his design. I like his boss area. Crystal Cave is dope, but in terms of an actual boss fighting him, meh, dude. Kind of hot garbage in my opinion. Like, every time I go to kill Seath, it's just like, alright, let's kill Seath and get out of here. Like, just a little underwhelming. I wish they could have done more with Seath. But I don't know what more they could have done. Hot garbage for Seath, that seems fitting. He's about on par with these guys here. Alright, now let's make our way down to the bed of chaos. That's Ceaseless, alright. Ceaseless Discharge. I want to say hot garbage, but I'll go mediocre on Ceaseless. So Ceaseless, he has a gimmick. You go spawn him, get his health bar showing, and you go all the way back to the start of the arena. You can just hit his arm and insta-kill him pretty much. Kill him after a few swings, it makes him fall off and die. I don't know, it's really kind of cheesy and weird, but if you fight him normally, he's kind of a tough opponent. But also, he's kind of cheap. I'm going to put him in hot garbage. Ceaseless, hot garbage for sure. I don't know what I'm thinking. There's no way. Ceaseless does not stack up with any of these 6 right here. This boss, he's gimmicky. He's easy. He can be annoying to fight. I mean, he just has like 2 attacks. He has like his explosion and he throws his tentacle down and you hit it and that's it. Yeah, not a good start to this not so good section of the game. I put Ceaseless at hot garbage for sure. We got a lot of hot garbage bosses in my opinion in Dark Souls 1. I kind of didn't expect this, but looking at it, yeah. I don't know. I might switch Seath to mediocre. I don't know if Seath is 100% hot garbage like these 3 are. He's really trivial for me, but I know some people could have issues with Seath. Alright, next up, I think this is Demon Firesage right here. Yeah, we'll definitely put him in mediocre with these guys. He's another reskin of Asylum Demon with a twist, you know, he's flaming. He doesn't do any other attacks. He does the exact same thing as Stray Demon. There's no fire attacks that I know of anyway. I've never had him alive long enough to see him. Yeah, same boss fight as Stray Demon. I don't know. Should he be hot garbage? I mean, yeah, we'll put him in hot garbage. Like, you're just fighting the same boss. You're fighting Stray Demon again, just like with a different reskin. And honestly, the arena looks the same too. I put Demon Firesage in hot garbage with these fellas. I think it's fitting. Centipede Demon, I'll put him in mediocre. I don't think Centipede Demon's hot garbage. I think he's a decent fight, but he's better than Firesage and Ceaseless, but he's still pretty mediocre. Nothing too astounding about this boss right here. There are some cool things, like I like how if you cut off his tail will come back to life and start moving around and trying to attack you. I like how the whole arena is just covered in lava and you only have this little patch of area to fight him in. Pretty stressful fight if you don't know what you're doing. His grab attack's crazy. I wouldn't put him up here with the solids by any means, but I think mediocre is a good spot for Centipede Demon. Meta Chaos, hot garbage, 100%. This boss sucks. I think everyone can unanimously say that this boss is honestly probably the worst boss in the whole game, if not the whole series. You gotta go in, go attack the right bulb, quit out, go back down the long slope, get a bow out, go over to the left a little bit, shoot the other bolt, quit out, go down the slope again, run down the middle and one-shot the little creature in there. This boss is annoying. It's irritating. The run back is horrendous. One of the worst run backs. It just takes so long, and if you're not quitting out and you're doing this over and over again like I did my first playthrough, this shit will take you an ungodly amount of time. And you won't even feel accomplished beating it. Beta Chaos, hot garbage, 110%. 3 of these bosses from first section of the game are in hot garbage, so I think that says something about the whole Lost Islith arc of Dark Souls. It's not very good. Beta Chaos is the crown jewel of that mess, so hot garbage for sure. Not good, bad. Alright, moving on. It's time for Four Kings. I put Four Kings as a solid boss. I would even maybe lean toward excellent. Yeah, I'm going to do excellent for Four Kings. For one, I think the boss arena in the Abyss is a really cool idea. I love that, especially at the bottom of New Londo, that well structure. I like the boss arena. I love the design of the boss. And I love there's kind of a gimmick to the boss, but I like the gimmick. You have to basically, your character needs to be powerful enough to do enough DPS to actually kill them. I don't know how many can spawn. I think it's 5 total can spawn at one time if you're not doing enough damage. Absolutely. It's a crazy fight. Mind-blowing, really. I think Four Kings is definitely an excellent fight. They have some attacks I don't like, but in reality, they don't do a lot of damage. You can recover pretty easily. You just gotta tank that projectile. Tank their magic, tank their hits. They don't do a lot of damage. Yeah. Four Kings an excellent category for sure. I think they stack up with Quelaag here quite well. Alright. And now go into the DLC. Sanctuary Guardian. I think Sanctuary Guardian's solid. I wouldn't say Sanctuary Guardian is excellent. This boss, spams lightning attacks. Melee attacks are really fast. It's a pretty brutal boss. Poison tail thing, I don't really get all that. I don't get that. Yeah, I wouldn't say this boss is excellent, but it's definitely, it definitely sets the tone for the Artorias of the Abyss DLC very well. You're in for a tough time with these bosses. They're all going to be really aggressive, hard-hitting, a lot of health. Yeah. Sanctuary Guardian, solid. Not excellent, not mediocre, but solid for sure. Now it's time. Artorias. Artorias. This one, he gave me a lot of issues, dude. This dude gave me some issues for hours. I'm talking multiple streams. Probably 5 total hours I spent trying to fight him in my recent playthrough. This guy on an NG plus level is truly something to behold. He is a formidable foe. That being said, I think Artorias is a legendary fight in this game. I think he's one of the best, if not the best fight in Dark Souls. It's massively rewarding killing this boss. You feel so good. Of course, in my playthrough, I killed him and got murdered by the Gravelords who walked into the arena while I was emoting. And then they killed me on the way back. I lost all the souls, but still, I was so happy to beat this boss. It takes all of your skill, all of your focus, all of your knowledge up to this point to beat this dude. He's got it all. He's got ranged attacks. He's got quick succession, close-up attacks. He's got jump attacks. He's got explosions. He's an explosive boss for sure is what I would say. And the lore, dude, the fact that he's all corrupted and he's lost his mind and his left arm, he's a left-handed fighter. His left arm is broken. He's using his right arm, his offhand, and he's fucking you up this bad. I think he's a legendary boss. Absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't hesitate to put him up there with Ornstein Smough. Great boss, great design, great atmosphere, great arena, huge arena. Very nice. His little toxic sludge attack I think is really funny, but the sludge. He's got to stop throwing that sludge, man. Artorias, absolutely legendary. No hesitation putting him up there. Now we got Kalameet. Kalameet, solid or excellent for Kalameet? I would put Kalameet a tier above Sanctuary Guardian. Kalameet, he's definitely the boss I had the most fun fighting. I think his attacks are pretty cool. His grab attack pisses me off a little bit, but it is avoidable. All of his stuff is avoidable once you learn his moves. He's a super cool design boss. He's another one of those like Artorias where he's not even at his full power, but he's still hard as fuck. The whole sequence with Goff shooting him down and the fight itself, I don't know. I had a lot of fun with Kalameet. I think he's excellent. The run back kind of sucks, but all of these, let's be honest, all of these run backs suck, so run backs aren't a factor. The boss itself, cool, very gratifying defeat. I would definitely put him up there and excellent with these two. Kalameet, truly a formidable foe, but he is doable. Now for Manus. This is another one like Artorias that gave me some serious issues, but after a while, all in all, I'd definitely say he's another legendary. Manus is a fantastic boss. This one has a steep learning curve, but everything he does is dodgeable. You just gotta figure out the timings. He's one of these bosses that kind of foreshadows what the rest of the series is gonna pan out to be like. He's got hard hitting, very fast, aggressive attack patterns. All telegraphed though. He's got great telegraphing. You can tell what he's going to do when he's going to do it. You just got to learn it. It takes a lot of time. For his magic attacks, if you know to go get the secret item, the silver talisman, it's actually really badass to use that to deflect those attacks. It makes the fight feel so much more interactive. Manus is he's a tough cookie, but once you figure him out and you finally kill him, it's one of the most gratifying defeats I think you can experience in any Souls game. I think he's up there for sure. He's up there with these greats. Manus, fantastic boss. Love him. I hate him, but I love him. I can say that. Now it's time for Lord Gwyn himself. I put him in excellent, without hesitation. I think Gwyn's an excellent final boss. A lot of people don't like him because he's easy and trivial, but I mean, if you don't just be a parry god and destroy him, he's pretty hard. Like, if you fight him like any other way, like melee, ranged, what have you, he's very punishing. He punishes your heals. His arena is really dope. The lead up to his arena, the killing of the first flame, is just amazing. Running through all those Black Knights to get to him is an unforgettable experience. Gwyn, man, I don't know. I got a soft spot for Gwyn. I think he's an excellent boss for sure. One of the best. If you are a parry god like me and you just melt him every time, I implore you to try and just fight him sword and shield one time. He will give you a run for your money, I assure you. He is quite the foe. Alright, so there's my tier list. Holistic view. I don't see any changes I would make at this point. I think it's all pretty set in stone. These shitters down here, these mids over here. These ones up here are the ones I really have some respect for. These bosses I love. But yeah. That's my opinion after beating Dark Souls on one of the hardest difficulties. Let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah, that's about it. Later.